Hello and welcome to the Daily Downbeat. Today's song is I've Got Friends That Do from Tim McGraw's Reflected. It's his greatest hits #2 album from the year 2000. This song is great. I absolutely love this song. And, I'm going to jump right into the lyrics on this one because it's great. And then we're really going to talk about a biblical story that I feel really kind of fits with this. This is for the nobody, the one in the crowd who's got a lost look on his face. This is for the downtrodden, the one that the world's forgotten, waiting on a better day. Well, I'm in no position to judge them. Heaven knows they're just like me. And I'm not alone in knowing what it's like to wonder where you're going in this crazy life. And I'm not alone in knowing how it feels to pray to God and sometimes wonder if he's real. I've got friends that do. This is for the lost junkie who spends all his hard-earned money on something that he hates. And this is for the found guilty who ain't getting out until he pays his debt to the state. I'm in no position to judge them. Heaven knows they're just like me. And I may not know what it's like to lose your job because a habit's got you gripped too tight. And I may not know how it feels to lay your head down on a prison bed in a world of steel, but I've got friends that do. This is for yours truly, just a little verse to remind me we've all got somewhere to turn. And I may not know what it's like to send my only son to save the world and watch him die. And I may not know how it feels to hang there on the cross to prove that love is real, but I've got friends that do. Yeah, I've got friends that do. That's a powerful song. There's a lot in there to digest and think about. But what I see is, as we grow up, as we have acquaintances, neighbors, friends, colleagues, family, we all kind of know somebody that fits into some of these boats, into some of these avenues. And it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult, to say, I've got a friend that's done this. I've got a friend that's done this. I've learned from watching this person. I've learned from watching that person. But those last few lines about having Christ and our Father sending him down for all of us really kind of covers all that. Too many times we like to categorize who is good and who is bad, and when it all boils down to it, we're all kind of in this same boat of being slaves to our own sin until we've repented and asked for that salvation from our Lord and really fit underneath that narrative. We're all slaves to these things, and it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to look at. But what this really reminds me of is in the Bible, the story of Jacob and Esau. Now, for those of you that don't know who Jacob and Esau were, they were the sons of Isaac, and Isaac was the son of Abraham. What we find with Jacob and Esau is two guys that are really wanting the birthright of their father, Isaac. And Esau kind of just nonchalantly gives over the birthright, and Jacob ends up with it. And Jacob knows that he's kind of swindled his brother out of it, so to speak. And so Jacob goes away. And Jacob has all these sons, and one of those sons is Joseph. Well, long story short, Joseph ends up being shunned by his brothers, thrown into a well, left for dead, and Joseph ends up going to Egypt and becoming, a pretty big name in Egypt. And these brothers end up coming back and needing Joseph's help. But that's not really what I want to focus on. I want to focus on when Jacob returned to Esau. And when Jacob returns to Esau, Jacob is scared to death. He thinks that Esau is just going to pummel him and, take everything that he owns and really turn this on its head. Because of the fact that Jacob had kind of stolen that birthright from Esau, so to speak. But what Jacob witnesses is something completely different than what he expected. Esau embraces him with open arms and loves him and pulls him in as his own, and Jacob wasn't expecting that. And in this story, Esau gets lost. He's like, a lot of us don't hear a whole lot about Esau, but Esau is the perfect representation of who we want to be. To just accept somebody back and forgive and, move on, that's beautiful. And what we really want to look at here is the fact that Joseph witnessed that. Joseph witnessed Esau embracing Jacob. And, Joseph was one of Jacob's favorites. So Joseph was right there with Jacob as he was approaching Esau. Joseph had kind of kept him and his mother Rebekah, and I believe Benjamin back with him, one of his other sons, Benjamin, the younger one. And he kind of had kept those back. And so, Joseph had to have been seeing how Jacob was reacting. Joseph had to have seen that Jacob was scared and worried about meeting up with Esau. And then when Joseph watched how Esau took Jacob in, that had to have affected Joseph. Joseph had to have thought something about that. And our pastor, Dan Stahlbaum, did a really good sermon on this, talking about the fact that, was Joseph able to forgive his brothers later in life because of what he had witnessed with Esau and Jacob? It's kind of hard to tell, but you would have to think that that really was in his mind when that was all taking place. And so what we're really going through here is, I've got friends that do talks about people in your life, and who do you look up to? Who are the most influential people in your life? Who are you surrounding yourself with? And it's just a valid question to think about, as you go about your day-to-day. Really give that some thought. Are the people that I'm hanging out with, do they uplift me? Do they help me in my walk? Or are they a little bit maybe a distraction? And do some of my behaviors not go in a great place because of maybe who I'm hanging around with? Just something to think about. So this is a great song. Take a listen to it. I've Got Friends That Do from Tim McGraw. And if you would, do me a favor, go ahead and click that subscribe button, like, comment. Let's talk a little bit. Really excited to see where this is all going, because we've really got a lot going on that's new. Make sure you check out this week's podcast with Wildman and Steve's great show. And that's really it for today. You can take this all to the bank, and we will catch you tomorrow. Take care.